This is Hot Mic.
Hot Mic.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mic, ready to rock and roll on this Tuesday. MSU Moorhead football coach Steve Lockway will join us about a half hour to recap the Dragons' miraculous win over Minnesota Duluth. That's coming up in about a half hour. As we know, North Dakota State is back home on Saturday as they'll welcome in the Towson Tigers. I can still say out of the Colonial Athletic Association, the CAA. It's the Coastal, I know now. The Tigers come in after a bitter loss to Villanova, nearly beat the Wildcats late on Saturday. This is the first time Towson has been back in Fargo since 1983. They played a Division II playoff game. Of course, the back end of a home-and-home. The Bison went to Maryland in 2021. Our pleasure to be joined by the head football coach of the Tigers in his second year. Mr. Pete Shinnick is good enough to join us here this morning. Coach, it's great to see you. Thanks for the time. We were just visiting off air. You have been multiple times to the great state of North Dakota.
Have been, yeah. I spent 3 years at St. Cloud State as the offensive coordinator. So when we were all in the North Central Conference there as D2 foes, made my way over to the great state of North Dakota a few times.
You were joking as well. It's snowed every time that you've been here?
Yeah, I've been there in September, October, and November, and it snowed. And actually went on a recruiting trip in December, and there was definitely snow there. So that holds up.
So when you got the job, I mean, you're looking at schedules. Did you see when you saw North Dakota State on the schedule? What went through your mind?
Well, I took the job and then saw the schedule for the following year. So. Fortunately, we have a new AD, and I was like, who put this schedule together that we're opening up with Cincinnati from the Big 12, and then 3 weeks later, we're playing in Fargo. And he's like, well, previous administration, all that type of thing. And I'm like, all right, let's bring it on. I mean, this is a great opportunity for us to see where we are and to see how we fit up. You have tremendous respect, obviously, over the years. And, obviously in the mid-90s, coaching against North Dakota State and their D2 powerhouse, and then watching them go up and the amazing success that they've had, it was like, all right, great opportunity for us. And, I kind of view every game as, where are we and are we improving? Are we getting better? And, we're in year 2, and, I like how we opened the season against Cincinnati. I think we let a few things get away, but we were in that ball game, and great crosstown rival came in and beat Morgan and, took the number 5 team in the country. Not very often do you miss 2 field goals in the last 2 minutes of a game. Still love my kicker. He's a great guy. He's doing well, but man, so I feel like we're moving in the right direction, and this will be a great national test for us. I mean, let's see where we are, and let's see what we're capable of doing.
You yourself have moved up as well from NAIA, from Azusa Pacific to winning a national championship at West Florida. When you've done that, how do you attach that to a new program? You did that at West Florida, to bring that to Towson now.
Yeah, it's a great question, and really it's I was very fortunate. 33 years old, I was able to become a head coach at Azusa Pacific University. So very thankful that I learned a lot the hard way through that process, but was able to find some good players and put together some good teams. And so with that, going to West Florida, it was really kind of the first place where I felt like we had all the resources in place. Now let's see what that looks like. And, we were blessed with a lot of great success there. Coming here, I feel like we've got all the resources. We've got the opportunity to be, I think, one of the top teams in the country. And so you still apply the same principles, the same guidelines, the same beliefs. And, if a player of mine from Azusa Pacific came to a practice, he'd hear a lot of the same things being talked about, the same principles, what we're trying to get done, how we're approaching the game, the positive attitude that we're bringing, the smart, hard work that we're trying to get accomplished, how we're trying to build unity, all those things. And so that was, I think, that's the fun part of my journey, going into year 26 as a head coach, still learning, still growing, still trying to figure things out. But at the same time, had a pretty good idea. I mean, having a dad that played in the NFL and coached in the NFL, having a pretty good idea as to what I wanted my foundation to look like.
You are a Baltimore guy, so you inherently know about Towson and what what's it going to take to win there? So I guess I'll ask that point. What's it going to take for Towson to get back at the top of the CAA?
Yeah, and Coach Ambrose, was here a long time, and the first part of his tenure, I mean, I think Towson was as good of FCS program as there was in the country, and he found a way to get us into that arena, and if you go back and you look at our history in D3 and D2, again, mentioned the '83 playoffs. I mean, Towson has had great success. And I think the thing that obviously gave me the opportunity to be here was sustaining that success. And, we have, really looked at our recruiting plan, who we want to get in here, what we want to do in today's era of, numerous transfers and numerous guys coming out of the portal, that kind of thing. We signed 17 freshmen last year and brought in eight freshmen walk-on. So a fourth of our team is true freshmen, and we're playing some of them. You're going to see some of them play on Saturday. I mean, corner safety and some D linemen. So I mean, a linebacker. I mean, we're fired up about the guys we brought in here. So really, it's always been build a great base with high school players, and then there's going to be. If recruiting was a perfect science, no one would get fired, so everybody keep their job, but it's not. And some guys make it and some guys don't. So then that's where we want to use the portal, and that's where we want to use transfers to just kind of bring in and fit in with what we're doing. But, it all starts with finding great players and identifying them. I got a great staff that believes in how we do it. They're excited about our approach, and, it's showing off.
That the level of high school football in that part of the world is outstanding, but you're fighting everybody. How difficult is that when you've got the big boys all around you and try to get a guy to come to Towson?
Well, no, you hit it on the head. So, I mean, I've recruited California, okay, when I was at Azusa Pacific, recruited Florida, North Carolina, we've recruited everywhere kind of in this time. I came here and I was shocked. I mean, I think it was day 2 out on the road, and Stanford and Oregon, we're visiting a guy. I'm like, holy mackerel, you got to be kidding me. Because we've got so many private institutions, private high schools that do such a great job. And then I mean, I'm looking at Mississippi State. I'm looking at Mississippi. I'm looking at Auburn coming in. Florida's walking around. In the South, you kind of got your little group. In California, you got your, you expect to see people. But I was amazed at the number of people who recruit this area. And there's a lot, as you mentioned, a lot of really good football talent here, a lot of really good coaches, a lot of really good players. And again, it comes down to finding that right fit. And every place I've ever been, we're going to tell guys what we expect of them. We're going to be very open and honest as to what they're getting into when they join our program. And it really is finding the fit that wants to be here. Towson's an amazing university. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. One of the most exciting things about Towson, and one of the reasons why I was really excited to, have the opportunity to come here. We've spent $1.2 billion on facility improvements on our campus. Right. And it's showing off, and you show up and you see our campus and you're like, wow, this place looks great. Towson was just voted the #1 public institution in the state of Maryland. So better than College Park. So there's a lot of positives to sell. We're competing with a lot of people, but we feel we get them on campus. We show them who we are. We like our chances.
I don't mean to pour salt in the wounds, but tell me about Saturday's game where you guys play a tremendous game. You get a late fumble recovery against Villanova. You got to be feeling, we've got them right where we want them. Take me back to Saturday and how it played out.
Yeah. I've been doing this a long time, and, we take you to the fourth quarter. So there's 5:36 to go, somewhere around there. And we don't convert the third down. And our offensive coordinator's like, hey, do you want to go for it? I'm like, no, I believe in our defense. We're going to get the ball back. And so we punted, pinned them down there. Defense got the ball back, didn't have to use any timeouts. Fortunately, they threw an incompleted pass, so we get the ball back. We use the 2-minute warning, which I'm loving.
Yeah.
Obviously, being an NFL fan, I'm loving the 2-minute warning. That thing's awesome. We use that. And we got we have an offsides penalty or a false start penalty, and we got a 3rd and long. And I just told the quarterback, I said, look, if the long option isn't open, take the underneath. Our kicker is good from this area. Takes the underneath, steps out of bounds. Minute 13 to go. Kick the extra point, or kick the field goal from 48 yards. It bounces off the middle of the right upright, And I'm sitting there going, all right, we still got a chance. Comes down, misses, misses the crossbar. And I'm like, okay, well, we still got 2 timeouts. I think we can get the ball back with about 18, 20 seconds. We'll have a chance to, do this again. And then our defense creates the
Yeah.
turnover. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me that we are destined to win this game. This is ours. Everything's lining up to make this work. And dadgummit. I mean, we center the ball. We're perfect. Chip shot. Guy kicks a little bit of a lower ball, I think trying to, make sure that it didn't go. It got kind of tipped a little bit and missed, wide right. And so I lived all of Bobby Bowden's, non-successful championship games against Miami right there in one game. It was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Wide right twice. How does that happen? So, yeah.
Did you, as a coach, do you even talk to your kicker? I mean, he's an all-conference guy. He doesn't miss, like you mentioned. Do you even say anything after the game or no?
Well, yeah, I had to because I mean he was shook up,
Yeah.
and I mean I credit our teammates and I mean our guys on the team because they loved him up, they secured him. I obviously he's sitting there going, "Hey, I lost the game for us. I lost the game for us." It's like, well, we had other opportunities. We had a touchdown called back because of an illegal formation. We gave up a long run because we had a guy out of position. And that's what I told the team afterwards. I said, "Hey, you all going to look and say, hey, the last play of the game. Oh, why can't he make it?" Well, we had other guys that needed to make plays during the game, and we probably never would have, should have been in that spot. So, but credit Villanova. I think that's what championship teams do, and I think that's, I think that's what makes North Dakota State who they are. North Dakota State walks on the field and says, "We're going to win," and then they've put in the work to do it, but they all believe it. And as we're learning as a program that hey, these things can go our way. Part of the hard lessons out there, part of the difficult part of making this thing work. If it was as simple as just lining up and kicking the ball, game over. But it's not. It's it's gotta go through the upright. You got to make it happen.
Is that emblematic of what you're talking about NDSU of how they won last week? What stands out when you watch the Bison through 3 games of 2024?
Well, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can sit here and say, the end of my career at West Florida. Okay, we were winning games like that. We were getting the onside kick. We were not, the guy didn't drop far enough, and we were able to get the ball over his head, on certain things because every guy in your program just believes you're going to win. And I mean, I'm a big believer in positive energy. I'm a big believer in all being on the same page. And when you do that, you just walk into it and say, okay, we've got this. Hey, I'm confident we're going to get this onside kickback. Let's go do it. That's what happens to us. That's who we are. And the team across is going, oh, we got to get this. I mean, again, I mean, it bounced off the guy's face mask. I mean, he's a captain of their team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing everything he can. But that moment was big. And so how do you handle that moment? And I think that's, what separates championship teams and teams that are trying to be championship teams are handling all those moments and handling all that is in front of them. And, that's the thing I told our guys, told our staff, told our players is, look, we cannot let, all the lessons that we've learned go to waste here. And so everything we did in that game against Villanova, we're going to have an opportunity to do it again some other time. How much better are we going to be at it? And that's what creates, I think, a championship level team. And, and credit North Dakota State and credit their coaching staff. I mean, they've, new guy here, but hey, they all believe the same thing. And those players believe it. And so, ETSU, I thought had a great game plan. They had some explosive plays on offense, which you don't typically see against the North Dakota State defense. But their guys were balling, and they're a minute away from getting this thing.
When you look at that off tape, Coach, is there something we can exploit as well? We see this. There are holes here that we can take advantage of on Saturday.
Well, I mean, yeah, holes. I wouldn't call anything on North Dakota State's defense as a whole because, I mean, to me, that is the most calculated, well-designed group of, defensive football is all 11, 11 is one.
Yeah.
And they are very, very good at playing 11 as one. I thought the ETSU guys made some really nice plays. I thought they had a couple of great runs. I thought their quarterback took advantage of some opportunities there. And so, I mean, what we look at is, you got 3 games of tape and you go, okay, what have they done? What have people had success with? What fits what we do? And then, okay, where can we do it? But I'm not sitting here going, hey, we're gonna rip off a 60-yard run because East Tennessee State did it, or we're gonna be able to, hit a guy, like Colorado did. Colorado's got some dudes.
They got some guys.
Yep. I mean, Colorado's hitting those against everybody. So for us, it's hey. You analyze the tape, what fits our system, what do we need to do? And then I think, defensively, again, looking at them offensively, I mean, here's a team that has every run known to mankind. Okay. They line up in every formation that you can come up with. I didn't know you could put that many tight ends on the field at the same time, but they do. And they just keep coming at you. And now they're spreading the ball out. Now they're throwing the ball well. I mean, it's a complete approach offensively and defensively to feel like, am I getting to be able to do what we want to do?
You mentioned you are a former Buffalo. You're a graduate of Colorado. What do you make of what Deion's doing at your alma mater?
Yeah, proud to be a Buff. I mean, what I make of that is it's interesting, and we'll see if it holds up. I'll say this: I mean, his son's a heck of a quarterback, and Travis Hunter's an amazing wide receiver. DB might be the best I've ever seen do that. But I mean, I've cared about the Buffs since I went there, and I think it's an amazing program, and it's an amazing place to be. I mean, those 5 years of my life, I mean, I learned a lot. I grew a lot under Bill McCartney, and those were great years and got great memories. I want to see that program be successful. We'll see if his approach is going to have long-term success. Or just, I mean, right now it seems like he has week-to-week success. So
about right.
we'll see what he can do.
I'll say this, for being out there it's a scene, man. It is something else. Like, it is unlike anything I've seen. I've been in a lot of college football places. That one is definitely unique out there.
And credit him. I mean, the thing that I love that he has done, and talking to guys that are there, I love what he has made game day.
Yep.
And I love the atmosphere, because Folsom Stadium filled, there's no place better.
It's pretty good.
I mean, it is a tight bowl. I mean, you are condensed in there. It is an amazing atmosphere. And, I mean, my first couple years there, I mean, I think most of the students came to drink the beer, because you could drink beer at age 18 and then look up at the mountains. I mean, we got better as we went along, but he's made an amazing atmosphere, and I mean, credit him for that, because that is awesome to see. I love seeing that place filled up.
My last question for you: I had the pleasure of going to Towson in 2021 when the Bison were there. I was stunned. I didn't know that the stadium is named Johnny Unitas Stadium. Your dad played with Johnny Unitas and the Baltimore Colts I'm a New York Jets fan, so don't hate me for that, since the Jets beat the Colts in Super Bowl III. But describe that impact of meeting Johnny Unitas and your dad being a member of the great Baltimore Colts teams.
Well, yeah, it's really ironic, because for the last few years, hanging in my office is a picture of my dad and Johnny Unitas hugging each other after a game. And so when this opportunity arose, and I said, "Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm gonna be working in Johnny Unitas Stadium." I mean, we grew up. I mean, we're all Johnny Unitas in the backyard. You know what I mean? And then, I mean, we're all pretending to be that. So to be able to, work here and be here, it's been a great blessing. And probably icing on the cake, I took the job sight unseen. Our athletic director came to my house. We were preparing for the playoffs, so I took the job without being here. And so when I got here, started doing a tour. Get off the elevator to go into the president's suite in the press box to just kind of get a view of the stadium and everything. And sitting right there is a white game ball signed by the 64 Colts. Wow. And a plaque to the right with my dad's name on it, and I can see my dad's signature on this ball. And I'm like, okay, this was meant to be. This is a pretty good sign right here. So it's awesome. Cool. It's a great experience.
Pete, I really appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this. Safe travels. Look forward to seeing you out here on Saturday for the game, okay?
No, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Pete Shinnick, head coach of the Towson Tigers. They'll be here on Saturday for the matchup on homecoming against North Dakota State. Our game day coverage begins at 10 a.m. with our pregame show, and then we hit the air at 12:50 for the kickoff show, with kickoff shortly after 1 between Towson and North Dakota State. That's pretty cool stuff there. We're over for a break. We'll take one now. We got a few emails to get caught up on, a few other things to throw at you as well. For Steve Lockway joins us in about 15 minutes time. We roll on. Busy Tuesday. We're back after this.